Hello, beautifuls. It's Charla here with Dragonfly Soul Healing. So, I'm coming on today because we need to kind of talk about the energies that are happening right now in the earth plane. We have a lot of stuff happening energetically that's causing a lot of mess for a lot of people, and especially the masculines. And so, I want to talk today about kind of what's going on with the masculines, why we're noticing them going through such trying times, such pressure, and seeing them really going back into the depths of their addictions, their way they're avoiding things. The reason I wanted to come on this morning, which is now afternoon, I wanted to actually make this video before I came in for my sessions this morning, but I just didn't have time. And so one of the things that happened this morning is I woke up in such agony, like my heart hurt on such a deep level, like that feeling of grief, like I had lost somebody in my life. And it took me about 15 minutes this morning to pull all these emotions apart and really send all that energy back to help those who were triggered see those triggers instead of avoiding them. And so the emotions weren't mine this morning, they were actually the collective of the masculines. So this is that energy showing up right now of the masculines really being under a pressure cooker, being asked to really start shifting and healing. And the feminines aren't like not part of this. It's more that they're experiencing it on a much deeper level. And so us feminines are really holding that container, holding space for these masculines while they're going through these like mass level upgrades that are just coming one after the next after the next. It doesn't seem to be stopping for them. So we've talked about this a few times, and this is still the same part, but a new level of this emotion that's coming forward, really pushing those masculines into their mission and back on purpose. So we're finding that a lot of them are really digging back into the addictions. I'm seeing it from people in my world. A lot of these masculines reaching out to the drugs, the alcohol, the sex, really just anything to help avoid dealing with the emotions, dealing with the feelings that are coming up for them. And so we really need to be mindful that we're not taking in their emotions and holding them as ours. We need to send those emotions back. And then we also need to transmute these emotions for ourselves, but also understand what's going on at these masculines on a deeper level. This feeling of being left out in the cold was really like feeling like I'm going to miss the boat was a big feeling this morning, on top of that heartache. And it's interesting because I shuffled a few decks before I started, and I have my emotional wheel here as well. So we might do a little bit of emotional release before I finish this video. But the cards that came up were fascinating. So the first one was this Five of Pentacles. So this is the After Tarot. Now you see, here's the masculines in this place of distress. Same with the feminine here. She's also in this place of distress, but she's carrying the baggage. And so this to me shows that emotion that we're carrying for those masculines. And so I feel it's really important that we release these and give them back, because these masculines can't go through this real deep awakening if we're taking on their traumas, their triggers that help them stand up, right? Because they're still in this despair. We've stood up and we've figured out our shit, but that does not mean that we need to take the weight of their crap with us. Now, what's interesting is the traditional tarot also had the Five of Pentacles come up at the bottom of the deck, so twice now. And so we need to keep going. It's interesting, actually. I've never really put these two cards together, the traditional tarot and then the After Tarot. Here's those two masculines going to find their way, yet they stop here. It's like they were still going to go, but one of them decides to stop. and yet here they're still sitting. So it looks like they want to move, and here comes that feminine, like, hey, we're going this way. Why are we stopped? Why are we pulling this energy? A lot of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles is underneath that one, and the Eight of Pentacles here as well. So these masculines are doing a lot of work right now. They're going through a lot of stuff. They're really being asked to get into that work energy, but they're also being asked to break these chains. Heal. This is the Star card, but you see them breaking these chains that we're tying around their wrists, and it's really activating this heart, but it's also triggering that sacral chakra, that root chakra. We have a lot of light where we're meant to normally ground. This would normally be like a red energy for that root chakra, and yet it's all light. So we're really trying to stay out of body, and we see the orange up here as well. So your sacral chakra energy is up here, and your crown chakra energy is down in this root chakra. That's interesting. I've never seen it like this before. So we're almost backwards in our energy field while we're trying to break the chains, but everything's flipped. And so we really need to get back in body, it feels like, especially these masculines, the Two of Cups underneath that. So here's that soulmate energy. And so it feels like we're breaking the chains from these really karmic relationships that keep us in this place of feeling left out in the cold. And so it feels like these masculines are really trying to break the chains of leaving these karmic relationships. And it could be the feminines as well, really being asked to walk away from any masculines that aren't willing to do their work, right? Because not all of them are. I'm seeing this from a masculine in my world who is having many different sexual encounters, and it's causing such chaos in that energy field in his world, and yet not willing to see that chaos that's erupting. And so it's leaving him kind of feeling this energy, and yet really what he's being asked to do is break free of these old patterns. And so it was something that was really triggering me, because I don't live around energies like this in my world. I kind of keep my energy really clean, but this is not it's not a part in my control, right? And so when we have these energies coming around in our field, until I move, I can't release that energy. And so I have to pay attention to it. And so instead of seeing the trigger that it was causing me, watching this energy, it was triggering a lot of past stuff for me, which is something we're seeing a lot right now as well, actually, is past stuff from this lifetime is really showing up right now to ask if we broke those chains. So a situation recently came up this week where I was put in the same position I was 8 years ago. And, I'm really blessed to have a lot of people around, and I'm blessed to have the tools that I do. But my girlfriend asked me, Truth, in all honesty, the situation you're dealing with right now, how did you heal it before? And the truth is, I tried to kill myself. I spent many weeks in a hospital after trying to kill myself. I didn't heal from it. I just went into that state of despair, which is why this trigger that came up this week for me was really making me reevaluate the way I handled that situation, giving me that opportunity to heal it properly. So it had nothing to do with the people in my world, but actually my past coming back to be re-looked at. So here's that Mercury retrograde energy coming forward. As we're coming into that shadow period, we also have Pluto about to go retrograde as well. So a lot of shadowy stuff coming up to the surface to be healed and cleansed. This can be a really trying time, or this can be a really freeing time. So you see the difference here. We can be stuck in this energy, that energy I woke up with this morning, with that collective of masculines really stuck in this feeling like they're going to be left out in the cold, like they're not going to get any help, or they can see where they're being asked to break these chains. And so there's a lot of energy pushing everybody deeper into those addictions, deeper into avoidance, because a lot of the sexual trauma the abuse cycles, those karmic relationships, all those past traumas are coming back up right now to be reevaluated. So whether you go deeper into that darkness and go really deep into those addictions, whether it's just complete avoidance, sabotaging the way you're treating your body or what you're doing with yourself after your work day, so to speak. If you're really diving deep into those addictions and an avoidance, it's going to be a rough cycle for you. I'm going to be really fucking honest. But if we choose to heal, we have this opportunity to have those really beautiful connections come forward because of this healing that takes place. But we can't create any stability, any relationship with a soulmate if our soulmate is in this energy. And so this is a really big thing right now, is using that intuition, right? Getting into that high priestess energy, knowing when this energy is about you and when it's about the other person. It's about releasing those emotions. And it's really seeing the truth in everything that's happening, speaking that truth, but also not turning into a bitch, right? Like the Queen of Swords can really be brutally honest. And in some of my clients, I had a masculine today where I did have to be brutally honest and kind of like hit those trigger points. And it's definitely part of my job where I'm hitting triggers, especially if you're in avoidance of it. I'm going to ask you the questions that make you want to punch me in the face, but I don't care, because it's what's getting you to heal. We need those triggers to make us go within and look. So these masculines are being asked to really go within right now and start searching for their truth, right? Start searching for where they're still stuck and needing to break these chains. This is a huge one, this card here. And I think I want to pull more. Oh yeah, look, the Fool. So they're being asked to go within, to go towards taking that leap of faith on something new. So needing to see how worthy you really are of finding that stability, right? This love that we're searching for, yearning for, but it's all about breaking free. Okay. So the Moon card here, we've got that new moon here right now. Yes, new moon. Coming up tomorrow, which is that eclipse season. So that eclipse energy is also stirring up a big mess in the field. I want to pull a couple from this Heart Tarot as well, kind of see what's going on in the heart of the masculines, or just in general, what's going on with this energy. Dreams coming true, the Nine of Cups. But then the Three of Swords, that sadness and isolation. So, interesting energy. We have this energy of like this needing to go within, and the Move card here, which is the Chariot, it's like, feels like we're bound to energies. So there's those karmic situations. We could have family members keeping people tied in these energies of despair, right? It's like we need to release these bindings. So this can be with like mothers, this can be with romantic partners, this could be jobs keeping us bound and keeping our heart bound as well. We're trying to come to this place of more peace, right? But there's nobody bound here. You see that? So we can't move forward with these bindings that are keeping us stuck in those toxic patterns, because that Three of Swords is here. So the masculines are really being, feels like they're in this energy right now, about to be catapulted forward. That Three of Swords is that heartbreak energy though, and that's that energy I was really feeling this morning. Sadness, isolation, grief, like mourning the loss of somebody. But that dream's coming true, showing that there's literally, the universe is in the palm of your hands right now. You can make this decision to have a better life, to find your dreams come true. That's what that Nine of Cups really is. But you're really needing to look at where you're bound to these energies and where we need to release some stuff. So let's tap into the emotion wheel quickly here trying to keep my videos at decent times, but it's not a thing usually. Purposeless is the first emotion coming up. Addicted, yeah. Imposter syndrome, that was also coming up. So feeling like a fraud for your gifts, right? But a lot of this isn't yours as well. Isolated. So truth is purposeless. The viewers is isolated. The viewers. Addicted and imposter syndrome. So we're just going to take a cloak up and off of us, returning to sender with consciousness attached, all these emotions that we're holding in the body. And let's pull another layer here. Fragile, anxious, and taken advantage of. So again, we're just going to take that cloak of energy and we're just going to sweep it up through the top of the body and return to sender with consciousness attached. This is causing my eye to like dry out in that sense of like, almost like it wants to cry, but it's in refusal. So it feels like we have a lot of beings out there right now who are avoiding crying. The crying is a really great way to release emotions and to release a lot of this energy. Humiliated is coming up now, self-conscious and shame. So anywhere we're holding on to humiliation, self-consciousness, and shame, we're also just going to pull that up and off and return to sender with consciousness attached. And if any of these are yours, we're just going to transmute them all. So we're just going to release that energy, allowing it to go. Let's grab another layer of emotions here. I feel like this is really important. Yeah, heartbroken's coming up. There's a lot of heartbreak energy right now. It feels like we're going through a lot of really uncomfortable things that we don't want to go through. So losing relationships, having a lot of romantic relationships breaking up. Purposeless is coming back up, so maybe we are holding this in the body as well, and unsafe. So we have heartbroken, unsafe, and anxious. Okay. So we're just going to take a tornado and we're going to wrap it around that body, from the feet all the way up the legs, all the way up to the top of the head, allowing all these emotions that we're holding, anywhere we're holding on to heartbreak, purposelessness, anxious, imposter syndromes, unsafe, addictions, we're just going to pull them off. And we're just going to fill that body back up with white light, filling up those holes and making space to allow that to come in. So, a lot of beautiful things can come through this energy if we're willing to stop being the victim in our circumstances and really start taking accountability for that body, for our emotional field, for the spiritual journey, right? So me waking up this morning and spending 15 minutes sending back emotions that weren't mine was one of the most important things that I required, because coming in for sessions full of other people's emotions are not going to help me in my healing process with the clients. So I need to make sure that I'm doing this emotional release and pulling any cords and contracts that are showing up for me to make sure I'm at my best self when I'm coming in and doing healing work for others. And this is going to be really important for you as well. How can you help others through their triggers if you yourself are holding all these emotions causing you to be triggered even though it's not your stuff? We really need to be mindful of that right now as to where we're holding on to this stuff. So I have created an emotional release video that is available for purchase to really help you guys learn the tricks to releasing these emotions and really seeing them, feeling them, knowing how to transmute them or send them back. So those are available for purchase. If you're looking to get that information, just send me a text and I can hook you up. Other than that, I'm just going to leave you at that for now. This video is really important to remind you guys that what's going on right now in the field and all the energetics, they aren't yours as much as they are other people's, because of all the stuff that's stirring to the surface, being asked to be released. And so if you have these triggers coming up, whether you're masculine or feminine, find ways to release that. Go to the water, go for a walk, get in nature. What do you need to do? Have a bath, right? Listen to some meditation music, sage the house, book a house clearing, right? Do something to shift those vibrations to get back on track, because we require everybody to get on track so that we can pull out of these addictions, out of these karmic situations, so we can have those true divine connections coming forward, because those are also just as important as that soul sovereignty. Those divine connections coming together, this Two of Cups energy, we need this support. The masculines need the support from their feminines, and the feminines need the support from their masculines. So if we don't have that, and we keep this divide where we have just this constant state, so again, that trigger coming up with this masculine having new girls coming constantly, consistently every week, how can we do any healing when we have people, not just masculines, but feminines as well, jumping from one bed to the next, constantly sharing their energy, never knowing where their energy begins and the next ends, because we have so much mixing in this body. It's really hard for us to become those sovereign beings and really heal this land if we have this chaos erupting. So I did bring this up a little while ago. Mind your field. Who are you letting into your body, into that sacred space, that sacred sexual union? This is not something that we're meant to sleep around a lot. And there's no judgment here. What you do is what you do. I have had my own experiences. We've all been there. We've all filled that void with whatever was required. But now it's really important to be like, is this hindering my growth? Is this even helping me anymore? Am I even getting the pleasure, the release that I've been seeking through all these sexual partners, through these drugs, through this alcohol? Are you getting what you require, or are you just creating more reasons to need another body, right? So really pay attention to that stuff this week, and know that as we keep this vessel clean from all those outside energies, we can really start doing more healing. So this is going to be something to really be mindful of in this next little while, is what are you doing with your field? How are you healing it? Are you creating more chaos, or are you actually deconstructing it? Pay attention to that, because that eclipse season is going to expose them truths, whether you want them here or not, right? So be mindful, so that while this eclipse season comes, you can create your dreams come true, right? We don't want to create this anymore. We've lived this thousands upon thousands of years. We've lived this. So step into this magical place. You get to decide if you're worth it or not. So take that leap of faith. Okay? So I'm going to leave you guys here. If you need to book a session, need some more in-depth personalized sessions, I will leave my link for my booking site on the post, and I will chat with you guys soon. Take care.